Do you ever wonder how Santa got his start? Yeah, I know, there's like at least 50 movies that try and tell us that exact origin story. Well, the newest entry is the Netflix animated film Klaus. Is this one all cookies and milk, or is it a giant lump of coal? A young postman named Jesper is sent to a tiny remote island, partially out of training, but mostly out of punishment from his postmaster dad because he's a sloth. He's lazy, he's privileged, he doesn't really care about anything, and he expects the world to be handed to him on a silver platter. Well, when he arrives on this tiny island with the task of delivering, mailing, just accomplishing the postal task of 6,000 letters, he encounters a town feud that is old as time itself. And this giant bearded man who happens to make toys. The animation in Klaus is stunning. I mean, it is beautiful to look at. It is a mixture of hand-drawn animation within computer texturing and lighting to put over it to give it just so much more depth and contrast. And I mean, the animation alone, the hand-drawn part of it is beautiful. But when you add those other layers onto it, it just comes alive. And it is crazy at what it does, because at times it almost looks like the entire thing is computer generated, but it's not. Jesper is played by Jason Schwartzman, and he's got great delivery, great comedic timing, just a lot of wit to him that he brings the character. I found him to be funny, and I enjoyed him, especially when he's being kind of dryly sarcastic. But at times, it was crazy because I honestly thought it was David Spade voicing this. There are several scenes in there that reminded me a lot of Emperor's New Groove. Some of the other voices that round out the cast are Rashida Jones, who is a fishmonger / teacher, and she's cool. She's not in it as much as I thought she was going to be, but she does play a key role, and so it's nice to see her in this. I mean, hear her really, because it's, it's animated. We also get Joan Cusack, who is one of the heads of the family leading this feud. And we have Norm Macdonald, who is a ferry boat captain-ish. I guess he's something like that. He's also the narrator. He's kind of like the town sage almost. But it's more for our benefit than anything else. Sure, does he talk to Jesper? Does he let him know different things that are going on? But really more so, it's for our benefit as viewers. And then we have J.K. Simmons, and he is playing Mr. Klaus, or Klaus. I don't really know if he had a first or a last name, or if that is his first or last name. It doesn't really matter. He's Klaus. That's what the name of the movie is. And he's quiet for a lot of the film. And then we do get to hear his voice. And it's great to hear him. I mean, he brings just that, he has that bass to his voice, just kind of this deep type of thing. But it's also unmistakable that it is J.K. Simmons. And he's not yelling a la J.J. Jameson. He's delivering it really well. And the voice matched the character that we saw on screen. And so I like that, because sometimes, you see a character and the voice doesn't just sync up. Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, I don't think that's how that person would sound, but he does it flawlessly. Now, the story itself is fairly predictable, but it's enjoyable too. There's a fair amount of charm as well to the entire movie. I mean, we know where it's going, but through each passing minute, it grew on me and it endeared me to it even more. The long-standing feud between the two families on the island are a lot like the Hatfield and the McCoys, except with a whole lot more battle axes. The feud does provide a lot of slapstick humor to the film, but it is also the plot device that moves the story forward, because Jesper needs these people to write letters. And what he does is he tricks them into believing that if you write a letter begging Klaus to make you a toy, he'll make you one, but you have to write a letter. Well, see, Jesper needs to reach 6,000 letters processed, and then he can get out of there. There's his motivation, which of course is going to cause conflict later on, because as the more time that he spends with them, he gets to know everybody. Well, and of course then he's endeared to them, right? And this is not spoiler stuff. This is just because that's the predictableness of the film. And that's okay. Because it was predictable, wasn't an issue for me at all. And like I said, it grew on me as time went on, because I like to see the change in the characters. One thing that I really liked is the message of the film. It's simple acts of kindness. And you see it. It is spoken and it is displayed throughout the entire film. And it's not just said here and then just kind of forgot. They carry it through and they keep repeating it. And so I enjoyed that part of that as well. Now, this isn't overly funny, but it does have enough wit and humor and sarcasm to make me chuckle. And then you combine that with just the emotion, the heartwarming part of that, with a slight bit of tension thrown in, and it keeps you engaged. If you're on the fence about watching Klaus, it really is worth the hour-and-a-half time investment that you'll spend. I mean, the animation alone is worth your eyeballs seeing it. If you have kids, it's a great family watch, especially because of the values that it instills. Plus, I think the kids will really enjoy the bumblingness and just the awkwardness of the two massively oversized, I mean comically oversized kids. I think they're the oldest children of the two heads of the feuding families. I mean, they don't really talk, but they're monster-sized and they're funny because of the bumbling and the slapstick that they bring along. Sure, the movie is a little dumb, but it has heart and it will make you chuckle a bit. There's no sex, nudity, or profanity. There is some animated violence. I give Klaus 4 out of 5 couches. When do you start watching holiday films? I start mid-ish November. Let me know when you do it in the comments below. Maybe you don't watch them at all. I don't know. That's also an option right there. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.